So let's talk about the iPhone 18 Pro. The leaks are piling up. And honestly, some of the changes Apple is lining up are the biggest we've seen in years. But it's not just about the specs. There's a huge shift in their whole strategy that you really need to know about.
Right, because this year isn't just about a faster chip or a fancier camera. Apple is quietly changing the playbook on how they launch their phones. And it's going to have a major impact on anyone even thinking about upgrading. It's a very, very deliberate move on their part.
So what's really going on here? What is it that makes this particular Pro model stand out so much? Well, let's break down every single major leak and really see what Apple is building. And we're going to start with a change that affects when you can even get your hands on one.
And that big change? It isn't a feature you can touch. It's all about how and when you can buy a new iPhone. Apple is completely breaking its own long-standing schedule this year, and it's a pretty gutsy move.
Okay, so here's the deal. This fall, we're only getting two new phones, the iPhone 18 Pro and the Pro Max. That's it. The standard, cheaper models, they won't show up until spring of 2027. This means if you want a new iPhone when they usually come out, the price of admission now starts at $999. Apple is basically telling you, if you want what's new, you're paying for Pro. It's a clear strategy to really push the Pro models as the main event.
So what do you actually get for that Pro price tag? Let's move on and take a look at the physical design, starting with the very first thing you're going to notice right on the front of the phone.
The dynamic island is getting a serious trim. We're talking a 35% reduction in width, which is pretty significant. And what's wild is how Apple is reportedly doing this. They're moving some of the Face ID tech like the flood illuminator right under the display. So it's not completely gone yet, but it's way less intrusive, giving you back some of that precious screen space.
And then on the back, Apple's continuing its thing with unique Pro colors. The big rumor is a new deep red, which sources say is more like a classy, sophisticated burgundy. And get this, for the second year in a row, it looks like there won't be a black option for the Pro models. That's a real power move, basically signaling that Apple thinks these new colors are strong enough to carry the lineup all on their own.
All right, looks are one thing, but let's get under the hood. It's time to talk about the components that truly make this a Pro phone. Because the internal upgrades, well, that's where the real story is this year.
Okay, for the first time ever on an iPhone, the main camera is getting a variable aperture. And this is a massive deal for photography. So instead of a fixed hole that uses software to fake adjustments, the lens itself can physically open wider in a dark restaurant or get smaller in bright sunlight. This means you get real optical background blur, not some computational guess, and just way better control over your photos.
Powering this whole thing is the new A20 Pro chip, and it's built on a crazy small 2-nanometer process. Now I know, 2 nanometers sounds like a bunch of tech jargon, but what it really boils down to for you and me is one thing: efficiency. And that efficiency, well, it translates into something we all care about: battery life. Leaks are pointing to around a 30% improvement in power efficiency. Now you pair that with what's likely a slightly bigger battery, and you're looking at a phone that could easily last 2 days for a lot of people. This isn't just a spec, it's a lifestyle change. It's the freedom to forget your charger one night and not even sweat it.
Okay, now for the upgrade that almost nobody is talking about, but it might just be the single most important change Apple has made in years. Let's talk about the modem.
The brand new C2 modem, which is Apple's own in-house design, is expected to go way beyond just sending emergency texts via satellite. We're talking about full-blown internet access, the ability to actually use data in places where it was literally impossible before. So imagine this. You're out hiking, you are completely off the grid, 0 bars. But you can still pull up Apple Maps to see where you are, or maybe even load a simple web page. That's the promise of NRNTN, or non-terrestrial networks. It's just a fancy way of saying your phone can skip the cell towers and talk directly to satellites for data. It's for true go-anywhere connectivity.
So you've got this incredible new hardware, but what can you actually do with it? Well, that's where iOS 26 comes in, and how Apple Intelligence is getting a major upgrade, all powered by that new A20 Pro chip.
With over 20 new AI features rumored, your daily communication is about to get a whole lot smarter. You know, imagine your phone just automatically translating a text conversation in real time, or giving you a quick summary of a long voicemail so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. This is Apple Intelligence making those everyday tasks just faster and easier. And it goes way beyond that, into the apps you use all the time. Apple Intelligence will be able to take a messy shopping list and reminders and instantly sort it for you. Or find an order tracking number buried in your email and pop it right into Apple Wallet. Across the board, all these little things add up to a phone that's becoming more of a proactive assistant.
So when you put it all together, the new release strategy, the design tweaks, that powerhouse inside, and the game-changing connectivity, what's the final verdict? What's the call?
Okay, here's the bottom line. If you're on last year's model, you can probably wait, unless that variable aperture camera is a must-have for your photography. But, and this is a big but, if you're coming from an iPhone 15 Pro or anything older, this is a true generational leap. The combination of the camera, the chip's efficiency, and that new modem makes it a genuinely compelling upgrade.
And that leaves us with one final thought. You know, we've seen phones get faster, with better cameras and brighter screens for years. But what about a phone that works everywhere, that's never truly offline, with full satellite internet? Apple isn't just upgrading a spec. They might just be redefining what it even means for a device to be mobile.